Today I'm going to talk about Isaiah the prophet. And hopefully you'll understand that if you kept up with my videos so far. Isaiah, I think at the time, they actually knew how to become a prophet. I think it's written in the Talmud, which is one of the Jewish books, and how it's created. Because I was talking to like a Jewish rabbi, and I was telling him about some stuff, and so they like to be asked questions, and he was telling me the information that I wanted to know, and I haven't got to that information yet. It's on my list. And back then, it's not like they had TV or radio or internet or anything like that. Life you pretty much had to go and find something to do. Now, religion was a big thing. Group gatherings were big. Meeting people and talking, and it was a little more political and stuff like that. You had your groups you hung out in, and so. The chances of becoming a prophet back then were a lot higher than they are now. There's just a lot of distractions right now from people even wanting to be involved with any kind of religion. I know there's a lot of people out there that really believe, and I like that. If you believe, it's a good thing. I don't think you could have like a moral standing without it. But Isaiah, he chose to be a prophet, and I think that he went to God and asked God, and God granted it to him. Because that's pretty much what you got to do. And you don't know God without an agreement. At least not that I'm aware of. Anybody that I've heard about or anything like that, it's pretty much the same. You got to have an agreement there. I call it the agreement. Simple enough. And when God granted that to him, he had to change certain aspects about Isaiah. And that was to let Isaiah closer so that he could get more information that he wanted, so that he could deal with people better. There's a lot of things in people's minds that keep them from doing a lot of it and achieving a lot of things. Because if you're swearing every other word, people are going to be really intolerant. You're not putting the message out that you need to put out. You're not being straightforward. You're trying to hype it too much, and people aren't going to, pay attention to you. They don't pay attention to you anyway, but it helps a little. removes the iniquity, just the bad things about people. But see, it's like the friendship with God thing. God's got to remove those things, but he's also got to make you more like him. So what it's not really saying, I mean, it's given to you in part. That's how you know the people that put the Bible together really messed up, because they either didn't have all the pieces, or they had the pieces and they didn't want to use them because they didn't want people following that line of that, how to change people. Because the change is really a big change, and if you have too many people doing that, you're not going to get very far, because what the prophets were for was for the ruling class. And when the ruling class got out of hand, they were to step up and say, you can't do this because God doesn't want that. You were speaking for God because you knew, either you knew outright because you were changed to know it, or God spoke it because it wasn't in his works before. And a lot of people don't realize that if it's already in the works, if it's already been said, God wouldn't have to repeat himself. All right? He wouldn't have to say who he was. He wouldn't have to say what he wanted. So unless it was something new, and he had to speak it, then it's not going to come out like that. But the whole purpose for a prophet, and even today, in today's terms, the whole purpose for a prophet is to keep the ruling class straight. And if they won't listen, then there's some kind of destruction that's coming, because God's warning everybody not to do that, not to do certain things, so the destruction won't come. But you know how people are, they don't want to listen. Destruction usually does come. That's what Isaiah was for. Isaiah was supposed to communicate those points to the ruling class, that if they didn't do certain things, their society was going to fall. And they were always temple-based, and they didn't have a people-based government. They had a king-based government. So it was a more direct kind of communication between God and them, the king. And within how he was changed, God put him in vision and took him to heaven, or something along that line, and changed him. But what people don't see is, to be like God, you have to be changed into the Word of God, which is a book. It's always a book. It doesn't matter what the book is written on, but like records, like the gold and platinum records, there had to be an original something somewhere that lasted through the time, because you had to have that to make the less less valuable records. You know, so like if I wanted a copy of a book, it would be there permanently, or at least long term. And it would be left unchanged. You know, so you would have a copy to copy from. That was weird. But that was always the case, you know. You're not just changed like that, you're changed a lot, you know. And it's not for a bad thing. It's not like you wouldn't want to be changed. It's really joyful for that change to take place. I mean, there's a whole lot of grief that's removed. For starters. And then just the joy of knowing that there's really a God there, and there's really a whole setup to creation is really a lot off the mind. You've got a really good sense of things, and you know, seeing things of God or seeing God Himself, or Christ is like that too. It's just knowing that there's a set of rules there really sets the spirit free, because then you've got like an infinite things that you can do within those rules, and there's no end. And it really gives a sense of purpose to anything that you do. There's a sense of purpose there, you know. And if you're making up your own purpose as you go, it's really unhappy. People would really be miserable doing that. You know, they may come off as being happy. They may come off as knowing what they're talking about, you know, as most do, but they really don't, and they're not. So when Isaiah comes out of the vision, you know, he's got to do the tree thing, you know, that he was shown. And there's two aspects of the tree thing, you know. If, you know, trees are meant for chopping, and you chop the branches off first, and you chop it down to the roots, you know, and basically that's like people. Trees are like people, and if they do things that are wrong, it's in the standing that how Christ was doing it, was that if you did things the wrong way and you learned life the wrong way and you got your riches the wrong way, then you're going to be unhappy. Everybody around you is going to be unhappy. This is going to be unhappy, no matter if you think you're going to be happy doing it or not. But doing it God's way, you know, you have to remove those branches and all the whole setups that you did, because there's a right way to do it, everything. And if you do it the right way, then your spirit jumps for joy. You become a very happy individual. Probably profit-wise, probably will gain a whole lot more from it. Well, what's more important, people or the money? And you can have both. You can have both the money and the gratitude of people, which is far more important than just money alone. Because I know a lot of people that are like in leadership positions who have a hard time with people. You know, they're doing pre-setup, you know, design setups, and they have a real hard time because they got to follow through with those things, and people, you know, look at it and go, what the heck's going on, you know? We're Americans, we're not Japanese or Chinese, or, you know, there's like things that we're used to, and that's what people have problems with, and then the management like has a hard time after that. But Isaiah was changed, I mean, into an image of a Bible, as all prophets are. That's what they become, and they have to remind people of things that they might be doing wrong. And once the society starts doing things that are wrong, then the society starts following, and it doesn't matter what kind of society it is. Because mostly religion is separated from the government, then they think that they're going to put God off to one side, and what God decides is just going to be in that little group, you know, and it doesn't work like that. Because once the laws of the nations supersede the groups and start putting hardship on the groups, then God is going to step out and go, no, don't do that. And then there's going to be a whole lot of people going to heaven all at one time because you don't mess with the Creator. I mean, people forget that He's alive, you know. They want to keep him like off to one side, but you know, the one thing that'll make him come out is distress his people. That's not a good thing. So that's the life of Isaiah, and Isaiah had to, I believe that he had to watch that take place, or at least parts of it, and there wasn't anything that he could do to change anybody's mind, because they became hard. Their hearts became hard. They didn't want to be like God. They didn't want to do those things, so they were punished by their own actions. I guess God feels that He doesn't have to punish anybody anymore. They could just do it to themselves. And I can't really think of much else. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.